Hello everyone, this is Jasmine, aka gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here with the daily tarot message for Sunday, July 22nd, 2018. So happy Sunday to everyone. I hope that everyone has had a great weekend or just been enjoying their week so far. Let's just get into it. So we do have the moon officially in Sagittarius, and the galactic energy signature for today is the red solar serpent. And so today there's quite a bit going on today. First thing I do want to mention is this activation portal that we have today through this grand fire trine between the sun, moon, and Chiron today. Since we do have the sun officially moving into Leo around 2 p.m. Pacific, maybe 5 p.m. Eastern time. And this will officially set into motion this trine once all these energies are officially in fire. But what I felt heavily for today was like dragon energy, kundalini energy. I feel there's a rising to the crown here. And what I also picked up on again was, as I had mentioned before, about this rainbow bridge portal. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here with Chiron being highly involved, obviously. And bottom of my dragon oracle deck, I did have the rainbow dragon, which I thought was actually really interesting. And so I feel there is a rediscovering of our wisdom. There's a rediscovering of who we truly are that is happening here. Also felt a lot of like throat chakra influence here with this Queen of Swords here on the floor, plus with this Eight of Cups. With those together, I associate that with like a third eye chakra influence. But then we also have this Four of Swords with the King of Swords above too. So I feel like this is also mentioning or reflecting on this kundalini energy, I feel. But more so than that, I feel like it's also us channeling some sort of higher intelligence. That's what I feel here, channeling some sort of higher intelligence. But just focusing back here on the center of the spread here, Temperance. As I did mention at the very beginning, we are officially in the Sagittarius moon, and so I feel like maybe that's also a reflection here of this temperance and balance. But we've had several cards about, balance and there being this harmony or this reintegration. But here I feel this is more of happening through galactic guidance and support. The way that these hands are, very ethereal. But also feel with this Queen of Swords and this Eight of Cups, as I've mentioned, there's this integration, I feel, of this higher intelligence or this higher understanding where the illusions start to melt away, the illusions from the past start to melt away in order for you to move forward, for us to reach new levels of emotional and mental discernment. That's what I see here with this Queen of Swords, but also with this King of Cups in reverse. I feel there's a need to further detach from like being very emotionally involved and connected. I feel like this, since it is here at the bottom in connection essentially to the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Swords, but it's also in the position of like, how do we bring our subconscious and our unconscious, how do we bring that to the fore? How do we bring that to our awareness? And so I see this as us having to sort of, again, the way that I'm looking at this dragon tail, almost like it's very lightly touching the surface. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. There's a need to remove, there's a disconnect that needs to happen in order to take this higher perspective. there's like a slight calm and cool factor here. I mean, even though it is a grand fire trine, there's this cool element I feel through these cards. So maybe that, again, that's a reflection of this cooling, this tempering effect that is taking place, being led by this higher truth and this I feel Aquarius energy when I look at like the King of Swords. Anytime I see the King of Swords card in this deck, it reminds me of Aquarius. But again, also with all of that Sagittarius energy. So ultimately, this is a lot of us really accessing this higher dimensional energy. But really, I see a lot of masculine energy, the way that we even have kings at the very center of this column. So I also feel this is about like this divine masculine energy that's being activated. This air and water that's really playing out here on this spread. So to this oracle card, I really just pulled the oracle card because of the trine. So I really wanted to see with this activation portal, like what does this bring us? Any messages, or is there any what was being activated? And as the card says, there's a need to stand in our power, but not just stand in our power, but there's a wisdom. I love that it is actually blue and gold, and I feel like that's in reference again to this fire energy with the gold, but then the blue was like this calming, this tempering effect that allows you to walk with a pride, but there's a grace and there's a majesty, there's a royalty in it, which also makes me think of Leo. Makes me think of this Leo energy, this activation that's going on every time we have like these different planets that activate the node and the nodal points in general. Even as the bottom of the card says, awakening to your own majesty and wear your cloak of power with pride. And so I feel like this is just furthering like like peeling back the layers. Let's just put it that way. Peeling back the layers to kind of reveal this cloak of power, if you will. But also just the way in this card, there's also this sword. And this sword also reminds me of this mental truth, or of this clarity, or just of this sense of justice. It just reminds me of just any hero with a sword. When I think of, Link in The Legend of Zelda, and you think of, there's all such stories. So just overall, I feel like there's a need, or not even a need, but that's really what the focus is today, on us sort of integrating this knowledge that we are coming up on, the knowledge that we're actually really kind of excavating, if you will, from within, and carrying this higher wisdom, really channeling and becoming like a channel for this higher wisdom to be integrated, so that we're really taking in and taking on this, like I said, this new level of discernment here, this ability to see past, the illusions, to be able to see through, like the ego games and the mind games that we can play on ourselves, that others can play on others, and what have you. But I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this resonates. I also send this with love, and I wish everyone many blessings. So feel free to check out any of the past content. I don't believe I actually reminded anyone that yesterday's post was uploaded. I'm gotta get better at that. So do check that out if you did not check out yesterday's. But other than that, I think that's really it. So I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope that everyone remembers that they are loved, and that they are appreciated, and that they are needed, that everyone working on their soul work, on their soul path, or just everyone doing some sort of work for themselves that helps the collective. And so I feel like that needs to be remembered sometimes. So, all right, until next time, y'all. Bye.